still speaking, they came from the house of the synagogue official, saying, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher anymore?" But Jesus, overhearing what was being spoken, said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid any longer, only believe." And he allowed no one to accompany him except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And they came to the house of the synagogue official, and he saw a commotion and people loudly weeping and wailing. And entering in, he said to them, "Why make a commotion and weep? The child has not died, but is asleep." They began laughing at him, but putting them all out, he took the child's father and mother and his own companions and entered the room where the child was. Taking the child by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha cum," which translated means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl got up and began to walk, for she was 12 years old, and immediately they were completely astonished. And he gave them strict orders that no one should know about this. And he said that something should be given her to eat. All right, so here we go. We are right in the middle of this story, and remember, we're talking about these interlocking things, this interlocking narrative. We start off, hey, here's Jairus, he's coming here, and then next we find this woman who comes to Jesus and had a hemorrhagic bleed for 12 years, and now we find the final piece to this little puzzle, which is his daughter is healed. All right, and so the connections we find here really are about Jesus healing. Because we also find, look, she was 12 years. The woman who had the bleeding was 12 years old. So we got that kind of linkage there. But more importantly, the link here is the faith. We saw that the woman exercised faith in what she did. That's what Jesus commends her for, and that's what Jesus says ultimately led to her being healed. Okay, so that's important. That's really the crucial kind of central idea that we need to focus in on, and it's one that's repeated here. What happens as Jesus is saying, "Okay, lady, you're healed. Great for you." Someone comes up and says, while he was still speaking, and said, "Your daughter's dead. Just leave it." Now we want to be careful here, because they understand death. Okay, they can pretty well understand when somebody's dead. It's not like they're kind of saying, "Oh, no." They get it. They see it on a level and in a frequency that we don't see it in our own daily life. So they understand this, and they think, "You know what? Leave. Just come and mourn. Don't bother Jesus anymore. Just come and mourn for your daughter because she's dead. Leave him alone, and let's just do this our way." And what's interesting here is now Jesus says, "Do not be afraid anymore. Only believe. Only have faith." Here's where we're getting at. Jairus, do you trust me? Do you believe? If you do, it's going to affect what you do next. Because if you don't believe, then you go home and you weep. If you do believe, then we're going to do something different. And here's what it is. They go. They go along with Jesus. They bring him along even when everybody else says it's hopeless. They put their hope and they're following and they're going with him. And that's when he gets there. Hey, everybody's like, "Man, this is terrible. She's lost." Jesus comes in and says, "She's not dead." They laugh. Again, this has to be one of those moments where Jairus' faith is really being tested. Do you believe? Will your belief, will your faith change what you do in this situation? And unfortunately here, he does. It shapes who he is and what he does. And again, this is one of those times where we have to understand for us, what does this mean for us? We have to understand first, this tells us that Jesus is the one we can trust. He's the one we can place our faith in. But it calls us to really ask ourselves about that question. Is what we say we believe truly living up to how we're living our lives? Are those two things matching up, or are they heading in opposite directions? All right. This is where Jesus is at. Believe. Your belief shapes your action. And if those two aren't happening, we got a problem. And again, same point being driven home through another story. For us, does what we say we believe match what we actually do? Because if it doesn't, now we've got the problem. All right, guys, Thanks so much. I appreciate you. I'm praying for you. Just keep going. Keep trucking through these verses as you continue asking those questions and see what God will show you as you do it. All right. Have a great day.